What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rants Red Talk, where we discuss all the topics you send through to me on Twitter. Sponsored by the One Football app for all your up-to-date footballing news. So make sure you scroll down into the description and download the app. All right. Before we get started now, a few things. Big up all of you. The United Stand have just hit 600,000 subs. Fucking mad thing. Obviously we couldn't have done it without you lot. Super buzzing, man. Next stop 750, then we hit the milli. Like, we're not stopping, man. All the hard work that we put in, obviously, for you guys, it's nice to see that the reflection is with the channel numbers and it keeps growing. Second of all, fresh drip, new trackie, fresh hat as well. Make sure you check out the 888 Sport video that me, Troops, DT and Gomes did. That's just come out as well. Your discount code for all your King merchandise is in my description also. Yes, Man Like Rants at the checkout for your discount. You won't be able to get anything before Christmas now. However, I'm sure there'll be some wavy sales in after Christmas and in the new year. So look out for that. All right, we're going to do things a bit differently today. I've got a few of your questions. Just want to touch on what you lot would have seen today, which will be yesterday by the time this comes out, because I'm going to schedule this for the morning. AFTV, the Arsenal fans, and their behaviour at the Everton away game. It's a disgrace, to be completely honest. And you know what? TalkSport knew and know exactly what they did and what they wanted to do. Like, they invited Robbie on to the show with an agenda, and this whole agenda they've been pushing against AFTV is for one purpose and one purpose only: to try and destroy fan channels, because they're taking away from these guys' viewerships. It's that it's that simple. These men are rattled, and we've seen it many times. We've seen it in society. I don't want to get too political, but the haves always create agendas to divide and conquer the have-nots, and that prevents people from uprising. So you'll get the rich elite, the 2% that control the media, that control everything, creating agendas so that the working class can fight amongst themselves and not realize that actually they're being fucked over by the people up there. So you'll get poor people worrying about immigration, about race, about all these other things, yeah, that aren't really that important when you're all poor, bruv. They got you looking at your own neighbour, fighting your own neighbour, when really the people you should be fighting should be up there. And that's exactly the same tactics that these men are using with AFTV. They've got these Arsenal fans turning on AFTV for their own benefit. They're trying to destroy AFTV for doing exactly what they're doing. Like, TalkSport actually give fans an opportunity to come on radio, vent about it, and make money from it. That's what these men have been doing. And actually the people that are telling people to call in are not Arsenal fans. They're arguably not football fans. They don't spend their hard-earned money and go to the games. These are corporate people sitting in a corporate office profiting off the despair of football fans. Rain or shine, win, lose or draw, Robbie, Troops, DT, AFTV, and all of these fans that go to these games are there, innit? They spend their hard-earned money. These men deserve a voice. They deserve to be able to do whatever they want to do. The facts are, TalkSport, which is owned by Sky, which is owned by Murdoch, who owns all the newspapers and all of these things here, yeah? There's an agenda against AFTV, innit? It's that simple. Like, it is clear to be seen. These men are literally getting pissed because Robbie, a normal working class black man, is out here. He had an idea, he put it together, and now he's making money from it. And they wish it was them. That's all it was. That's all it is, to be completely honest. There's nothing more than jealousy, so they're trying to destroy man because they can't compete with man. Like, it's bait, innit? And quite frankly, it's embarrassing. A lot of these Arsenal fans need to get into their head that it's not Robbie, it's not Troops, it's not DT that are picking your team. It's not them man that are signing players. It's not them man that are not giving the manager money. The fan channels reflect what's going on in the stadium, what fans' thoughts are. Just because your thought isn't the same as the next fan, that doesn't mean, cool, I want to silence you because you don't believe what I believe. That's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And that's what a small percentage of that fan base are trying to do. And that's what TalkSport are trying to do. They don't have the same agenda. These men that are like, Arsenal Fan TV don't represent the club. Oh, they don't represent all the fans. Arsenal Fan TV ain't supposed to try and represent all the fans. Arsenal Fan TV represents the fans that have the mic in their hand at that specific moment. Just like my opinion don't speak for all United fans. Mark's opinion don't speak for all United fans. Saeed's or whoever's, or Adams, or whoever has the mic, bruv. We let random fans speak every single game. We have a few people that are on every week because they're there every week, and then we have randoms. And guess what? None of the opinions of these people speak for everyone in the stadium. So this whole notion that these men want to try to shut it down because you don't speak for all of us, that's bullshit. These men really know why they want to shut Robbie down. The fans that don't like Robbie know why they don't like Robbie, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into it, but the real ones really know why they don't like Robbie. Do you know what I mean? And TalkSport just want to get rid of man because he's a threat. He's doing better than them and he's making peas, innit? And guess what? That's not going to change, bruv, because we weren't victims before this YouTube thing, and man are not going to be victims after. So if them man think that they can bully Robbie, yeah, and somehow shut down the operation, he still stayed, he still filmed, he still got his videos out. AFTV ain't going nowhere. United Stand ain't going nowhere. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just one of them ones where people are just going to have to fucking accept that, guys. They're just going to have to accept that. The man them that don't like the channel or don't like the fan channels, they know why they don't like the fan channels. And usually it's got nothing to do with the fan channel itself, because these are the same man that are calling into TalkSport. These are the same man calling into MUTV. Them man just don't like it because of who's doing it. It's not because of what it is. Do you know what I mean? So, like, real ones know the agenda, innit? Like, you lot know there's 2 Manchester United channels. When Flex is standing out there holding a mic, a lot of the shit that Flex gets, yeah, man from the other channel weren't getting. Do you know what I'm saying? And man don't want to drop names and that because I don't have beef specifically with man from the other channels. I don't, innit? But I know that when Howson's holding the mic, he won't get the same hostility that Flex gets when he's holding the mic, even if they're asking the same questions. The reason why are twofold. Do you know what I mean? Because of what Flex looks like, and also because Flex ain't from Manchester. It's a combination of the two things. So it's not that these men don't like fan channels. They just don't like fan channels when they've got this mentality that we're better fans than you because we're from here and we look a certain way. And it's the same with Robbie and AFTV. All the men that are hating on Robbie don't look nothing like Robbie, fam. That's just what it is. You got a black man making money off a football club that these men think, rare, like, we're better fans than you. Like, that's just what it is. So, man don't even want to sugarcoat it because it's fucking bullshit, innit? But, like, man just want to get off this now, yeah, because it has annoyed me. It has annoyed me because I know what's going on here and it's not nice to see. Yes, it's not my channel, but at the end of the day, fan channels have given all fans a voice, helped all fans thrive. This argument that fan channels wouldn't be here without negativity is bollocks. The most numbers we've ever got on the United Stand is when we were singing Ollie's at the fucking wheel, yeah? Ollie came in, United were doing bits, bruv. That kind of atmosphere there, yeah? We couldn't have shared that with fans all over the world if we didn't have YouTube and we didn't have the fan channel. The reason why a lot of the United Stand followers, yeah, feel attached to the club and can actually feel like they know what's going on at the club is because of fan channels. You don't get that from Sky Sports. Sky Sports aren't sitting in the stands. These men are sitting in studios. TalkSport ain't sitting in the stands. Them men are in a fucking central London studio in the Murdoch building. These men are not on the front line with all the rest of the guys. So fan channels are responsible for hundreds of thousands or millions of football fans feeling even closer to the football club, which they cannot get from MUTV. They can't get from Arsenal's channel, I don't know what it's called, or from Liverpool TV, or from the West Ham TV or whatever. You can't get that, innit? So the bottom line is, the guys up there at TalkSport are jealous and they're afraid, and yes, they should be, because we will be putting them out of business. And a lot of the hostile fans that are ignorant and that don't like fan channels because they feel like it's spreading negativity, have some of that energy for Talk Sport. Have some of that energy for MUTV that are hanging up on callers when they want to vent. Because all these other media corporations, that are owned by tycoons, etc., are doing the exact same thing, making a lot more money, and you don't have the same energy for them. So ask yourself why you really have that energy for them. All right, let's draw a line under that, guys. If you want to comment on that, feel free to, innit? This ain't shots fired at anyone specific. This isn't to cause some sort of controversy or some bullshit. These are just nothing but facts. Like, I've been on the front line. I know what's being said. And I know what the real agendas are, guys. All right, let's go into your questions. First one, at Pit 19711. Serious question, Rants. Who's the better manager, Oli or Arteta? Is it a good move for Arsenal? I like your question, yeah. One thing I can't say is I can't say that Arteta is a better manager than Oli because we haven't seen him do it yet. However, I believe that Arteta's ceiling is higher than Oli's, and I genuinely am worried that if Arsenal back Arteta, he's going to be a very good manager. Here's an example. Arteta said, yeah, football is about habit and angles. It's much more simple for a player if you can process the image of where your teammate will be before receiving the ball. If I am in the kitchen and I know the glasses are always in the cupboard, I can get my glass of water more quickly. Basically, what he's saying is, with football, it's all about creating habit. It's all about muscle memory. The best way to make an efficient football team is to have your players know where everyone's meant to be before they get the ball, so they can play the ball quicker. They don't have to think. Everything just becomes a habit. It becomes instinctive. It becomes quick. It becomes fluid. This is what you're seeing with Liverpool. This is what you're seeing with Pep Guardiola teams of the past, the Barcelona team that Pep managed and all these other things. This is where it comes from, bro. This is what coaches, and this is why I say, yeah, the fact that Oli ain't got no style of play tells me that he's not a good coach, bro. Arteta has already told me that he's going to come in. He has a style of football he wants to implement. He has a strategy. He knows how he's going to do it. That's what he tells me. He sounds like a man with a plan just from what he said there. That's why for me, Louis van Gaal, yeah, is the best manager that Manchester United have had, yeah, post Sir Alex Ferguson, because he's the only one that came in with a clear, concise plan. You knew how Manchester United were going to play every game without fail. You could see what they were implementing on the training ground. He improved players, and before the games, anyone that went to the games would see he would line up the players in a certain position and he would get them repeating, passing the ball. The back line would pass the ball along. Everything would be in triangles. Everything would be in patterns, and they would do it until they were sick of it. And that's how you build muscle memory. They say you have to do something 10,000 times to become an expert. And that's what he taught these guys. This is what Arteta's talking about. There was no talk of DNA. There was no talk of fucking work rate and passion. The other day, Oli was like, "Oh, it was nothing to do with tactics. Why we lost this game? Yeah, like they just wanted it more than us." No, bruv. Like, if you've got better players than a team and they beat you, it's tactical, bruv. It is tactical. Like, I don't want to hear this thing where man's just absolving the blame from themselves. It's not about tactics, bro. It's always about tactics, bro. Football's literally a game of chess with a ball, bro. Like, you're not just going to beat a man on passion alone if they're better than you and they've got a game plan and they execute it properly. It just simply doesn't happen. If a team come out and they execute the game plan on point, I don't give a fuck how much passion you have. If you don't have the ball, your passion ain't getting you shit, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Passion is not going to blow the ball into the opposing goal if they've got the ball, bruv. It's just not going to do it. So, from what Arteta's telling me, this brother's telling me that, yo, I've got a plan. I've got a philosophy. I want my team to play football a certain way. I know how I'm going to get them to do that. I don't see that from Oli. So, my answer is that Arteta looks like he's got a higher ceiling However, it's still to be proven, because I've been impressed with a lot of press conferences from managers at the beginning, and them man have let me down, blood. Jose said all the right things in his first press conference, and then he died for me. He said that he was going to try and play a different kind of football, more attacking, and he said that he knew Manchester United's philosophy, all of these things, and he was going to try and live up to that. He didn't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Solskjaer come in talking about how he wants to play front foot attacking football and stuff like that. A man's got man playing some lethargic football in possession, yeah, if man are not hoofing it long. Dead counter-attacking football, bruv. So managers are like politicians, bro. Like, you don't know if they mean what they say until it's crunch time. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that. But what I can say is, from the early signs, I believe Arteta has the makings of a very good coach, and also seeing what Pochettino said about him as a player and the ceiling he thinks Arteta has, like, I'm with Poch there. All right, next one. At Life by Sonu. Should Oli place more emphasis on hiring better coaching staff, or is it his tactics holding us back? I believe he should hire better coaching staff. I really do. Like, to be honest, I saw a clip of a video someone tagged me in today, and it was McKenna taking the drills in training, and Oli was standing back. So I don't know if this is something that happens all the time, or if it was just McKenna's turn to try and implement something different. But all I'm saying is, yeah, if I was Manchester United manager, I would bring in a very good team, bro. Because the thing about Sir Alex Ferguson, which made him a genius, is that every time football started to evolve, he changed his coaching stuff. He did it. He evolved with the times. When Wenger came in and Wenger was doing the new nutrition thing, the new other things, Fergie said, what? Them man ain't eating chips no more. We're going to take chips off the menu. And he openly said that when Wenger came in, when he found out Wenger was doing certain things, he changed it as well, bro. Like, the one thing about Sir Alex Ferguson, as much as he was strong in his opinion and everything like that, he was flexible. Like, he was humble enough. He had the arrogance about him, but he was also humble enough at times to say, hold on, maybe this is better than what I'm doing. I'm going to let man try a thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Jose is so stubborn, man will just die on his sword, innit? And that's the difference between the two men. So I do think Solskjaer's tactics are holding us back, but I also think that his lack of, I don't know, I wouldn't even say lack of. I just think that the way he sees football, yeah, is shit, bruv. He's got a very old school, like, British mentality when it comes to football. He thinks that heart and running is just going to win you games, bruv. And, like, you just don't need to be technically good. Like, he would pick a team of McTominay's and Dan James's if he could, bruv. And he thinks that that's going to be enough, bro. Like, it's not. But that's the kind of man that he likes, bro. And it's terrible. Like, I just can't. I can't with Oli, bruv. I really can't with him, to be completely honest. I just think that the way he sees football, yeah, is very archaic. For such a young manager, I think he's got a very old school and close-minded approach to football. I really do, innit? And that's why I don't mesh well with his tactics and what he wants to do, because I just think that, like, honestly, when I see Oli, like, he might as well be Mick Phelan's age, bruv, because that's how the kind of football that he's got, man, playing. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Next one, at Rayla Maxi, it says, why do you think Oli hasn't given Gomes a fair chance at the number 10 despite all the problems we have had with that position? I think it comes down to his mentality, bro, and how he sees football. I think Gomes is too small. I think that's why he don't like Gomes. It's his size. Like, there's no other reason. That's the reason why he didn't really like Fred at the beginning as well, bro. He didn't give Fred a chance. Fred got a chance because everyone else got injured. Like, he likes Matic, McTominay. Obviously, Matic turned on, man. Do you know what I mean? But honestly, I don't think Fred would have got a chance had every man not got injured. And I think that because we don't play a possession-based game, yeah, Gomes is small and he's not going to run around and do the donkey work that Andreas Pereira does. So even though Andreas he's not as technically gifted, he's not as talented as Gomes, but Andreas is going to do the ugly stuff that maybe he doesn't trust Gomes to do, or he doesn't think Gomes can do, or Gomes doesn't want to do. it comes down to preferences and styles of play. And Ollie's probably looking at it like, you know what, I'll play Andreas in the 10 or on the right because Andreas works hard. Again, stylistically. So don't get it twisted. Under like a possession-based manager, Gomes plays, bruv. Gomes will probably end up at Barcelona. And it's going to be another Pogba situation all over again, where in 3-4 years, man are going to be looking at him and saying, oh, how did we let him go? But that's going to be on Ollie, bro. That's going to be on Ollie. Ollie was chatting shit, saying man was injured, and then 2-2s now, bruv. Man's playing in the under-19s. So, brother. Yeah. This is why my head hurts with this Ollie fella. So, don't get it twisted, yeah? Ollie's a passion merchant, innit? And that's why Angel Gomes isn't playing. It's that simple, guys. Let me know in the comment section. Christian J. Actor. It says, Greenwood is a great striker in the making, but he needs time. How can we, as a club, ensure we get the best out of him and stop him becoming lost potential like past academy players such as Banks, Blake, Fraser Campbell, Makeda, and Giuseppe Rossi? Those are some names, bruv. Those are some names, bro, taking me back to when I used to watch MUTV. One thing I would say is, I think Sylvan Blake and Giuseppe Rossi were very unlucky that they were in the academy at a time where, I think that was when we had Louis Saha, Ruud van Nistelrooy hadn't long been at the club, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head, because I'm starting to think when I was watching MUTV when I was still at my mum's house, I can't remember what year that was. I'm thinking that's Ruud van Nistelrooy and the Tiempos, bruv, and Louis Saha, them kind of times there, bruv. I think they were unlucky because of the man they had in front of them, to be honest. Sylvan Blake and Giuseppe Rossi were badding out the reserves. And then I think Rossi just had loads of injury problems, so he didn't bust. I think Sylvan Blake, I don't know if he had an injury as well, why he didn't really get a first team crack of the whip. Makeda did get first team games and he just didn't cut the mustard. And who was the other one? Fraser Campbell, again, he did get opportunities, but he went out on loan also and didn't really mash up the place. But none of these, man, I think, apart from Giuseppe Rossi, I don't think that these men had talent anywhere near Mason Greenwood. Sylvan Blake was like a physical specimen, bro. Very strong, very powerful. Makeda was just Makeda, bro. Do you know what I mean? We bought him and he died. And Fraser Campbell, again, like physically, he hadn't really matured at the time, and talent-wise, he wasn't special, bruv. He was just a good athlete and he had a good eye for goal. But Mason is different gravy. The only thing that stops Mason from going to the very, very top is his attitude. It's up to him how he wants to conduct himself in terms of how much extra work is Mason going to do, because he's going to get a big pay rise now. He's going to be making big boy money. He's going to be getting a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of women about. There's going to be a lot of distractions, innit? If he keeps his head focused on the football, I think he will. He seems like the right kind of lad. Seems like Rashford's got his arm around him, and the club are also protecting him as well, stopping him from doing interviews and kind of doing that kind of thing. I believe that Mason can go to the very, very top, and there's absolutely no danger in him falling off the wagon. I honestly don't see it happening, bruv. So let's put our hands together for fucking Mason, bruv, aka RVG, bruv, aka the gunman, bruv, Mason Gunwood. Next one, Shahab Ahmad. If Poch comes in the summer, which, don't get me wrong, I want, doesn't that continue the cycle of our team being mixed up with other managers' players? What if Poch doesn't fancy the likes of Haaland, Saul Niguez? Has that become a waste of a signing? First of all, we ain't definitely getting either of the two players that you've mentioned. It's not definite. Do you know what I mean? Until these men sign, I don't really, especially the Saul Niguez thing, because I don't believe that we're in for him. I really don't. Do you know what I mean? I've seen his name floating about. I don't think we want Saul. And either way, yeah, man have been linked with Longstaffs and all of that. So for us to just be linked with like Saul, I'm not fucking buying that. The Haaland thing, Poch had Harry Kane, so there's no reason why he wouldn't like Haaland. I think that United's recruitment now is very different. We're not recruiting specifically for a specific style of player or a specific manager. I think we're just recruiting for the future. We're getting young, talented players. So I don't think that if Poch comes in, yeah, at the end of the season, any of the players that have been brought in are players that Poch wouldn't want. There's no way that Poch is going to look at Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and be like, nah, I don't fancy them. Or Daniel James. Do you know what I mean? Like, Poch had Lucas Moura, another pacey, wide player. Obviously, Moura's better than Daniel James. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the profile of the players, Poch had Llorente and Harry Kane, like tall strikers with that kind of stature. So there's no reason why he wouldn't like Haaland. Also, Poch likes young players that he can mould and he coaches players. So when I look at the profile of the players that have been brought in, there's not a single player that I'd think that, you know what, Poch wouldn't fancy them. So in that sense, I think that we're making a lot of common sense signings. So I don't think that that actually impacts whether Poch comes in or not. Let me know what you think in the description, guys. The next one, it says Ollie and Glazers out. Are our British players massively overrated by the media? I like McTominay, but some are treating him like the second coming of Roy Keane. Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of these British men are overrated. And that's why I'm particularly hard on these guys. Because you know what it is with a lot of the British media and also a lot of British fans? They're very ignorant. And what I mean by that is, these men think that the Premier League is the be-all and end-all of life and the holy grail. These men do not watch football outside of England. They don't know football outside of England. They don't care to know football outside of England. So anything that kind of looks good in England, they think that this is just the best. Remember when Jack Wilshere was coming up and everyone was saying how wavy Jack Wilshere is? And don't get me wrong. For a British player, I like Jack Wilshere because he had something about him that was different. But when Pep came out and said, we've got 100 Jack Wilsheres in the academy, he fucking meant it, bruv. Understand the level of tech over there, yeah? What Jack Wilshere's doing is just normal blood in Spain. When you see man like Isco and them man that are just teched off, and Thiago Alcantara and them man that teched off. When you compare that level of techers, yeah, to Jack Wilshere, bruv, or anything that England players have, yeah, Jadon Sancho is the only player with ball manipulation that comes anywhere near what these continental men are really doing, bruv. Like, but in England, man look at it like, oh my God, this guy's really, really sick just because he can do a chop and a drag back. But understand, in other countries, that shit is not even standard. That's below basic. Do you see what I mean? So it's just a mad one. The same with Scott McTominay. Yeah, he's a good player, but understand, yeah, Manchester United at his pomp, yeah, at his peak, Scott McTominay's not getting in the squad, bro. So it just depends on what you're comparing it to. Like, Scott McTominay is a very good player, but just for this Man United team because of the level we're at, do you think Scott McTominay is getting into a squad of Scholes, Keane, and them man, bruv? No. Like, he's not even better than Nicky Butt, bruv. Like, Nicky Butt is better than Scott McTominay, bruv. And Nicky Butt was actually a good player, but because of the man that was around him was so good, man used to think Nicky Butt was dead. But he wasn't dead, bruv. He was just around some real ballers. It's the same with Darren Fletcher. Now, Darren Fletcher wasn't super dead, yeah? But because he was around such wavy ballers, man used to look at Fletcher and say, oh, he's crap, blood. But in all the big games, Fletcher played, blood. And he played well. Do you see what I mean? So, they love overrated, man, in Britain. Scott McTominay is a good centre mid, yes. Do you know what I mean? But when I'm looking at the rest of the top 6 teams, yeah, I'm not seeing Liverpool man say, oh, yeah, I'll take Scott McTominay. I'm not seeing Chelsea man say, you know what, I'll take Scott McTominay. I'm not seeing Tottenham man say, you know what, I'll take Scott McTominay. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even seeing Leicester man say, you know what, I'll take Scott McTominay. Probably no team in the top 6 would take Scott McTominay. Like, that's the honest truth, blood. Manchester, born and bred DNA, all of that aside, yeah? None of these top teams ain't asking for Scott McTominay, bruv. Like, that's just the realist. And that's not a slight on Scott because I like him. Do you know what I mean? I like what he offers the team. But the God's honest truth is, outside of Manchester United, no one gives a shit about Scott McTominay, blood. And that's how you really know what players are on. Because if no other team wants your player, they're probably not that good in it. Like, honestly. All right. Next one, guys. At T__. Amir, it says, how did your team lose or lost? Well, lose it is. Anyway, I don't know where you're from, bro. But 7-0 to DT. Anyone else but DT. Honestly, the thing is, you see with videos and stuff like that, these man edit it to their own agenda. With the Blood Brothers thing, like, we had a lot of problems with them, hence why it took so long to get the games played and that. We literally had less than half of a team. And when you watch the rest of the Blood Brothers series, you'll see it all explained in it. But these man edit things because anyone that's seen the Blood Brothers thing is heavily biased towards Arsenal Fan TV and DTFC. You can see that in it. You can see that. So I don't even really need to explain that. Like, you'll watch an episode on the United stand and literally most of it's about DT and Robbie and them lot, bruv. And then they give us a little 10-minute cameo of games at the end, bruv. It's not about us, innit? But we had at least 6 players missing and we didn't want to play the game that day. And they just wanted us to play the game that day. They were like, oh, we don't mind that you don't have your full team. It's about the storyline. They wanted to create drama and all that. And because DT's team, they got a lot of ex-semi-pros. I mean, ex-pros that have been kicked out of academy and stuff like that. They're a good team, guys. They are a good team. But my team at full strength beats them. And we were very disappointed that we literally had to play a team that had never really played together, and we lost. And we lost well. The refereeing was crazy. They should have had a couple man sent off. I haven't actually watched that episode. 2-footed tackles going and all that. A few of my players could have got hurt and I was very upset. I was upset in the manner in which we lost, but I was also upset that we were forced to play the game when we didn't want to play it because we wanted to give the best opinion of ourselves. But all I can say is, guys, watch the rest of the series because, boy, like, let's just say that was the last game that man never had my team back. And what we did after that game, you man are going to see something in it. So trust me, it didn't hurt no one more than me to lose to that team. It didn't hurt nothing more than me. But honestly, because deep down I know that weren't my full squad or anywhere near it. Like, I'm actually, like, I got over it pretty quickly. Put it this way, you see the Liverpool team that got slapped the other day by Aston Villa? Their man got clattered, but it's like it didn't matter because it wasn't the real Liverpool. That's exactly what that game was. Last one, at striker 555. Ollie focusing on getting a striker instead of strengthening our midfield. That's not even a question, but I know what you mean. And this is exactly what tells me in my head, yeah, that Ollie don't really know what he's doing, guys. Because man could talk about the board and the Glazers all you want, yeah. No, Ollie got rid of Fellaini. He knew Ander Herrera was going. He knows that Matic's legs are going. He doesn't bring in a midfielder. That's Ollie's fault. That ain't no one else's fault, bruv. No one else's fault. He knew we needed a right winger. He brought in Daniel James, who's predominantly a left winger, when we already had left wingers. Man sold Lukaku, loaned out Alexis Sanchez, didn't bring in a striker. That's not the board, bruv. And then now we desperately need at least one central midfielder. We've had Pogba out for most of the season, yeah? And man's looking at a striker. And there ain't really no talk of midfielders. And when there were talk of midfielders, it was dead midfielders like fucking Longstaff. So that's why I don't have no confidence in this guy. I really don't have no confidence in him because actually the decisions he's making tells me that I don't think he knows where the problems lie. The same way he said he doesn't think things are tactical when they are, I think he genuinely is winging this whole management thing. I think that he's learning on the job and he's just literally, he's fluking things. And when he does get results, he doesn't know how he's getting them. Do you know what I mean? So he even came out in an interview and said, I was happy with my midfield at the start of the season. And now with Pogba coming back and Matic coming back, they're like new signings. Like, bro, for real. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like, man can't forgive that. Like, I can't forgive that. So as much as people think, right, like I enjoy getting on to Ollie, I don't enjoy it, bro. But I don't believe in him. I'm not going to pretend that I believe in him. Because I don't, bruv. I think he's a fraud. And I honestly don't know how much he knows about football, bruv. Like, I really don't. Like, I have not bought into his philosophy because I don't think he has one. I think that he's literally doing this whole thing of passion and and hope. And I don't think he's got a plan. I think the fact that he keeps gassing about long-term plan and this, that and the other, I think it's just his way of endearing the fans and also taking a bit of pressure off himself, man, because I honestly don't think that he has a clue about what he's doing or what's going on. And that's my honest opinion. So let me know what you think in the comment section regarding that. Like, do you find it very, very disturbing that we're not thinking about getting a central midfielder? We haven't been linked with a decent central midfielder at that. Man have been linked at a Grealish, linked with Grealish, Maddison, all these man that are attacking like number 10. But we ain't been linked with a proper central midfielder, apart from Saul Niguez, and that's just come recent. And then also, there was a rumour saying that Saul Niguez was someone that was wanted by David Moyes or something, but he turned him down or something. That could be just flipping Woodward briefing the Pesh, some bullshit, trying to throw man under the bus. We don't really know. Let me know in the comment section. That was your Rants Red Talk, slightly longer than usual because we had to address the fan channel thing. As I said before, big up everyone that supports the channel. Mad love for you guys. Obviously, we couldn't be doing the bits that we're doing without you, so we appreciate you massively. Make sure you download the OneFootball app in the description for all your up-to-date footballing news. And as usual, your discount code will be in the description for your fresh Gomes. Make sure you follow the social media. I always fucking forget to do that. At Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram. And smash the fucking like button if you ain't done that already. I assume you have, because you lot fuck with me like that. So what can I say? It's been a pleasure. And yeah, I'll be back after the Watford game for your match review. Peace.